and welcome back to Guided Souls. I am your host, Katie. You might also know me as Guided Soul Katie on TikTok, and I'm so excited to be back here for another week with you guys. If you prefer to watch this, you can head on over to YouTube, search for @Guided Soul Katie, or you can also click a link in the show notes that says show episode website, and you can watch it there as well. And if you're enjoying this podcast and you haven't already, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It helps me so much. And not to call anybody out, but there's a lot more people that listen to this than people who have reviewed it. So please review it, unless you're going to give me less than 5 stars, in which case, feel free to not. But especially if you want to write me a review on Apple, a little note. I read all of them. They mean so much to me. I got a couple new ones last week that really touched my heart. So if you have a couple minutes and this podcast has helped you out in some way, if you could write me a review, that would mean so much to me. And if you enjoy this episode, if you want to share it with a friend, that helps me out a lot as well. And before I dive into today's topic, I kind of wanted to give you an update on the direction of this podcast. As you know, I've kind of been fine tuning it over the past couple weeks, and it's kind of cool. You guys get to see the evolution of that, or at least I think it's cool. So if you don't think it's cool, that's okay, I guess. But my favorite podcasts are the ones where it's very consistent. I know what to expect. They have similar segments and flows from podcast to podcast. So I really wanted to have that be the case for this podcast as well. But I wanted to make sure that it was something that felt authentic to me and that I thought you guys would enjoy. So I've been doing a lot of work around it, and I'm excited to be able to unveil that to you guys next week. And just to give you a little bit of a hint, it's not a coincidence that I will be unveiling it at the start of the zodiac calendar. If you enjoy astrology, my channeling abilities on TikTok, tarot, just like a fusion of spirituality type modalities, as well as just me, talking about my experience and hopefully helping you along your journey as well, then you are really going to like the direction that this podcast is going in. So I'm excited to share that with you all. And if you have any feedback at any time that you want to give me, you can email me at guidedsoullllc@gmail.com. Or again, if you click the link in the show notes that says show episode website, there's a contact form, and that will go to my email as well. So today's topic is all about choosing your path, and the idea that your path will choose you when you choose it. And so I'd like to start off by reading a channel message that I put out for my TikTok collective that I think really describes this notion, and we can go from there. I'll put the link to this video in the show notes as well, but I'll just read the transcript for you guys. This was posted last year on December 29th, and it says "You are a way shower" at the top, in case you're just scrolling through TikTok and you want to find it. So here's a channel message. You are a way shower who is here to redefine what it means to be a human. We are taught how much darkness there is in the human race and the dark things that we are capable of as humans. But for all the darkness that is on this earth, there's also an equal amount of light here as well. And it's just that the individuals who carry those lights have historically not been in the spotlight, but that is changing right now. You are meant to be in the spotlight to show us your new way of living and to show us your definition of the beauty of what it means to be a human. So you are being called right now to fully step into your personal power in order to take your place as the way shower that you are always meant to be. You were chosen for this path, but you also chose it. If you are having trouble stepping into that power or fully understanding what that means, I would suggest that you try these 3 things. Number 1, learn more about who your guides are. Who are you connecting with? Who are you receiving guidance from right now? For some of you, it may be on such a granular level, such as actual names. But for many of you, it's just knowing the type of being and souls and entities that you are connecting with that is really going to help. So whether you feel very connected to Mother Earth or goddess energy, or star seeds, or earth angels, or archangels, or Jesus, or God, whatever it is for you, whoever it is for you, just knowing and having the idea of who you're connecting with and calling on them specifically for guidance is going to help deepen your connection and open your channel even more. And receive the power that they are giving you in order to be the way shower. Number 2 is to start to fully embody this way that you are going to show us 24/7. And this is not going to happen overnight, so be patient with yourself, and it may even take you discovering what that is in order to be able to embody it. So be patient. Give yourself grace and have fun. But begin to live your life in a way that aligns with this new way, because that will naturally raise you to the frequency of stepping into your power and your place as a way shower. Number 3 is to release it into the world in whatever way feels aligned with you, whether that is social media, music, talking about it with individuals who are already in your life, finding new individuals to talk about it with. It's going to be different for everyone, but I would encourage you not to shy away from the modalities that make you uncomfortable, because those are the ones you're probably going to end up using. And I would also encourage you to not see these as sequential steps, but to do them simultaneously. Again, go at your own speed. You do not have to rush this, but you don't have to be fully tapped in and understand who you're connecting with and fully embodying this way of living 24/7 in order to put it out there. And in fact, if you are able to put it out there while you are doing the other 2 things, that is going to help you bring along those people instead of getting to the finish line and then looking back and trying to bring people with you, because there is someone who needs to hear exactly how you are getting to where you are getting to and your process of doing that. So if you are able to document and share it in real time, it's going to be that much more impactful. And in fact, it is you stepping into your space as a way shower. So that is the channeled message. If anyone is wondering what a way shower is, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's someone who came here and is meant to show the way. And this could be in any walk of life. This does not have to be, specifically in spirituality. It's like, what is your way of embodying this beautiful experience of being a human being? And how can you show the way for other people? And I'm just really drawn to this idea that yes, our path chooses us, but we also choose it. So before we come to Earth, we see our life path 100%. We see all the struggles and triumphs that we go through, and we decide on a specific life path for our soul this time around. And as we're on Earth, that slowly starts to reveal itself to us as time goes by. And that's kind of this feeling of your path choosing you, is you're like pulled in a certain direction, or you feel called towards something, or you light up when you do something. But the other half of it is making sure that you choose your path. And what that looks like is fully embodying it in every area of your life. So, for me, I definitely feel like I am meant to be a way shower in spirituality, in how to live a life that feels authentic to your soul. I'm also meant to be a channel, a medium, a soul messenger, whatever you want to call it. And this path has been choosing me for months now. And again, at first, it's not something that I wanted. I have run away from it at multiple times and kind of come back to it, but I feel like I'm finally in a spot where I am also choosing this path in every area of my life. And so very shortly after I recorded that channeled message, I shared with my family that this is what I was doing. That I was on social media, that I was a medium, that I was, really putting myself out there in this way. And it felt like a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. And it felt like, okay, I'm finally able to accept that this is who I am enough to show other people that know me that this is who I am. I've also been making a lot of changes in my day-to-day routine. I'm taking sleep a lot more seriously. I'm really limiting the amount and access that I have to my phone and social media. I'm doing yoga every morning, really getting, more disciplined around my meditation practice, making sure that I have healthy food at home for me to eat and things that sound good. And it's really this idea of embodying being a way shower in every way, shape, and form. And this did not happen overnight. This is definitely something that I've been slowly working myself up to, and I will try something and then it doesn't necessarily stick, and I'll take a step forward and then I'll take a couple steps back. So it's not like I just decided, December 29th, oh, this is what I'm going to be doing. No, like, you guys know that I have taken many side steps, back steps, zigzags since then, but it's led me to this point where I really feel like I am fully embodying this way of life in so many different ways. And I felt like the last step, the last piece of that I had still yet to embody and step into and choose and own was sharing this part of my life outside of my immediate circle. So, up until very recently, aside from the people on social media and who listened to this podcast, the people that knew that I was doing this, in my real life were my family. So my mom and my siblings, my husband, and a couple very close friends. And that's it. And I knew that it was time for me to share this with a broader audience of people that know me. And it just felt really scary. But I also was so sick of just like not being honest with this part of myself. When people ask me what I do, I always have this, canned answer that isn't really what I'm doing at all. And so I just wanted to be able to stop hiding this and to be proud of it. And I have come so far in my ability to be proud of myself, that this is what I'm doing, that this is who I am, that this is my path, that my path is to spread magic. Like, how cool is that? How cool is it that I get to spread magic every single day? I get to deliver messages from beyond. I get to connect people with their past loved ones. I get to share my voice and share love and all of these things in a very public way. And I'm so grateful for that. And there's nothing about that that I should be embarrassed or ashamed of. And so I think really also just being able to change my own mindset in that this is a gift, this is not a burden. I feel like someone needs to hear that again. Maybe it's me. This is a gift. This is not a burden. That felt huge. That felt like, okay, if I'm not embarrassed by this, why have I not shared this with more people in my life? And, I really didn't want to go around and have 50 to 100 different conversations with people letting them know I was doing this. And that's the beauty of social media, right? We can just put something out there. People will most likely see it and, then it's out there. So I felt like sharing this on my personal Instagram was the easiest, most effective way to do that. So I just added to my Instagram stories. I said, I figured it's probably about time to share what I've been up to lately. And I just had like a link to my TikTok. And then the next one was like a link to my podcast as well. So pretty low key. Tried not to make a big deal out of it. And as soon as I posted it, I felt so exposed. I felt like people were judging me and I had no idea what they were thinking or what they were saying. And it brought me back to that song, Breathe 2 a.m. by Anna something. I'm blanking on her last name right now, but the lyrics are 2 a.m. and I'm still awake writing this song. If I get it all down on paper, it's no longer inside of me threatening the life it belongs to. And I feel like I'm naked in front of a crowd because these words are my diary screaming out loud, and I know that you'll use them however you want to. I mean, this is my diary screaming out loud. And my channel messages on TikTok are so raw and authentic and vulnerable. It's scary. And I don't have any control over how people use them. And so, just like every few hours, because I actually don't have any notifications for social media turned on. You might want to try it if you don't already. It's very liberating. But I would just check in every couple hours, see like, okay, who's seen it? Who's hearted it? Has anyone reached out to me? And I don't have a very big following on my personal Instagram. So I don't know, out of like maybe my 400 or 500 followers, maybe like 250 saw it. And a lot of them were people that I have not spoken to in a decade. Some people that I didn't even know, like, I didn't even know that they still followed me. I was like, whoa, I had no idea that this person followed me. Some people that are more actively in my life, but that I don't talk to all the time. And then also people that I see like all the time saw it as well. And it's funny, most of the people that reached out to me about it were people that already knew. So my family and a couple of my close friends being like, I'm proud of you, good job. Like, I'm so excited for you, just really nice messages. And then I had a couple of very, very beautiful messages from people that I have not talked to in years, but who I still think of very fondly, friends who I still think of very fondly, but I haven't talked to in a long time. And then also, some very kind messages from some people that are currently in my life as well. But a lot of what happened, which I could have predicted, and, which I think I said a few episodes ago, is that most people I didn't hear from at all. It was crickets. It was just like they saw it and they moved on. And my mind, my brain wanted to play so many tricks on me, like, oh my gosh, they are just like going down this rabbit hole of watching all my videos and thinking how weird I am. I bet they're like texting this person and being like, have you seen this? Someone from not my most recent place of work, but like 2 workplaces ago saw it. And I was like, is she gonna like go to work the next day and show everybody, can you believe what Katie's doing? A person that I didn't realize still followed me was one of my ex's friends. I'm like, are they gonna show, him? And he's gonna be like, what the heck? And it's just all these things. And the reality is probably no one cares that much. Probably people were like, huh, that's interesting, and they kind of moved on. Maybe they thought it was a little bit cool. Maybe they thought it was a little bit weird. Maybe they could not have cared less. That's probably what happened. Were there some people, or are there some people who shared it or are making fun of me or who think it's weird? 100%. Like, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say, of the 250 people-ish that saw it, there's probably 1 or 2 that had that reaction, but I am not embarrassed of it. So why would someone else's opinion on it affect how I feel about it? Especially people who are no longer in my life. Like, no shade to past relationships or past workplaces, but like, those people aren't in my life anymore for a reason. And so even if they felt a certain way about it, even if it was spread to people that I didn't necessarily want it to be spread to, who cares? And I can live in ignorant bliss thinking that that never happened. They just kept it to themselves. They don't care and they just moved on with their lives. But I think some big takeaways that I really wanted to share is, similar to how I predicted, number one, anyone who thought negatively about it did not say anything to me. Number two, there were people who did reach out to me who really surprised me with their very kind and supportive words that I was not expecting. And number three, there's a lot of people in a gray area who have seen it, and I have no idea what they're thinking, and that is scary, and I cannot control if they're talking about me behind my back, so I'm just going to live in ignorant bliss that they don't care that much and they just moved on with their lives. And so even though I had that really uncomfortable feeling of being exposed and feeling naked in front of a crowd, and like all of these people have these words to my diary and they'll use them however they want to, I felt so liberated. I felt like finally I am free. Finally, I'm not hiding this. Finally, I can have real discussions about this with my friends who are currently in my life and who love and support me, and I've been hiding this from. Finally, I don't have to make up like weird random lies about what I do all day. And up until now, it's kind of felt like my path has been parallel to where I actually am. So I can see this path coming towards me. It's kind of like ebbing and flowing towards me, but it's never actually been the same path that I'm walking on. And as I started to do all these things and reveal, bits and pieces of this to different people in my life, I slowly started to get closer and closer to that path. And it's like by sharing this on social media, it was the last step of letting go and crossing onto that path and choosing it 100% and saying, I have been chosen for this path, but I also chose it. And this is me choosing it 100% and walking down it unapologetically and full of gratitude that I get to spread magic every single day of my life. And even on my hardest days, here now in the present moment, I would not go back to a year from now for any amount of money in the world. There is nothing that could make me go back to where I was a year from now. And I do feel so free and so liberated and so happy and so confident and so authentic. And it is really important for me, as much as I can, to try to show the way for other people who want to walk in a similar path. Does not mean that you have to focus on spirituality in your career at all. But if you just want to walk a path that you choose and that chooses you, and you feel authentic and vulnerable and happy and confident, then this is the podcast for you, because I will continue week after week to help show the way of how to get there if you want to. And so if this is something that you are wanting to cultivate more of in your life, but you're not entirely sure how, I really would go back to those 3 things that I mentioned in the channeled message that I gave on TikTok last December, which is, really connect with who your guides are, who you're speaking with, and who you're getting directions from. Start to fully embody this path in all areas of your life, and then put it out there and share with people that you've chosen this path. So for the first one, to really understand who your guides are and hone in on that and know who you're receiving messages from, is actually a really fun process. And it's not meant to be stressful. It's not meant to be something that is scary or difficult. It's really whatever you're drawn to. And that's how cool it can be. It's like, it's going to be different for everyone. And, I listed a couple different types of entities that you might be connecting with, such as angels, spirit guides, past loved ones, star seeds, archangels. Maybe you prefer connecting with God or Jesus. It's going to be different for everyone. And you can kind of just go into a meditation like you normally would when you're connecting with, your spirit team, and just ask who you're speaking with and see what comes through. For me, a lot of the messages that I get are from my dad. I feel very connected with him, but I also feel very connected to nature and Mother Earth and the idea that Mother Earth gives me messages. So I have an oracle deck that is like the Green Witch's oracle deck that has little messages from nature. And I feel really drawn to that. So I'll pull a card from that every morning and night. I also really relate to goddess energy. So I have like a goddess tarot deck that helps me out. Maybe you feel really connected to your higher self. And so you want to, look into that more. It's like part of the fun is just exploring who and what you're drawn to, and then seeing if there are any additional types of tools that you can use to help you connect with them even more, whether it be a guided journal, a card deck, a meditation. There's lots and lots of resources out there, books, whatever you feel drawn to. And I have found that just by holding the intention of who you're connecting with, it makes the strength of the channel come in so much stronger. So again, you could just do some Googling and see what you're drawn to. Maybe there's something that I've said in this podcast that you really want to go check out. Or maybe you want to just sit in quiet solitude with your guides and just ask them who's there and see what comes through and see what you feel. And I think the really beautiful part of this is there are no wrong answers. You may feel like you're connecting with star seeds today, and next week you might be drawn more towards angels. It's like it doesn't have to be just one entity. It's not going to be just one entity. It can grow and evolve over time, but it can feel really fun and help give you a lot more direction if you feel like you have a clear idea of who you're speaking with. And you don't have to know their names. I don't know the names of any of my spirit guides. Other than, I do think that my dad is a huge part of my spirit team, but there are other people who do know the names of their guides very specifically. So you can, but, don't get hung up on the fact if you don't know what specific angel or what specific starseed or what their specific name is. It's just kind of really seeing what you're drawn to and what energies pull you forward. And then the next step is to really embody this path in every way, shape, or form. And so part of that is discovering what this path is. So if you have not, gotten there yet, give yourself time, have patience, give yourself grace. You don't need to figure it out overnight. But I think even if you don't know your very specific path, you can still envision a future that you want, whether it's having a family, whether it's, being more financially stable, having a job that feels more fulfilling, being in a loving relationship, whatever it is that you kind of have your eyes set on. My favorite manifestation technique is to see that and then to become the type of person that has that. So for me, I want to be a full-time spirituality content creator, both on TikTok and podcasting, putting channeled messages out there and really having this be a sustainable career. So for me, someone who does that is someone who goes to bed early and wakes up early, who does yoga every morning, who meditates, who eats healthy food, who doesn't drink alcohol, who doesn't have caffeine, who drinks lots of water, who writes in her gratitude journal, who pulls, oracle cards every day, who goes on walks and gets outside, who makes time to have fun with friends, and who is very open with everyone in her life about the path that she's going on and is very proud to be on the path that she's on. And I feel very fortunate to say that I have cultivated all of those things in my life, but it's taken me many, many months to get there. And so that's not to discourage you. It's almost to encourage you that this really isn't going to happen overnight. You don't need to make it happen overnight. You likely get burnt out if you do. But I think a really cool journaling exercise is to envision the life that you want, whatever that looks like, and then Write down everything that that person does throughout their day. What do they have? What do they feel? What do they do? And then see which one of those are in your control right now, especially if you're going like through your daily routine, and start implementing some of those. And don't be hard on yourself if you take a step forward and then 2 steps back. I'm constantly doing that. I'm constantly zigzagging, but I ended up, you know, on the path nonetheless. And then, when you have those few things and you feel really stable in them, then you can add a few more. And there's nothing wrong with saving the hard things for the end. I feel like I definitely did that, especially with like sharing on social media. I made sure that I did the small things first. I built up my confidence. I really got comfortable with the fact that this is my path and it's something that I want to share and own. And then I was able to share it. And I think another question that you can ask yourself with, if that's maybe not getting you, the answers that you want, is what is it that you're dissatisfied with in your life? What areas of your life are you dissatisfied with? And how can you change those? So for me, one of the areas I was dissatisfied with is that I had to hide what I was doing, that I couldn't be forthcoming with people in my life about what I was doing. So I changed that. And there are some things that are more out of your control. Like if you're dissatisfied with your finances, you can definitely take steps towards doing that. But there are obviously going to be some things that are more in your control than others. But it's seeing, okay, here's this thing that I'm dissatisfied with. What is 1 or 2 steps that I could take today to get myself closer to being satisfied or more than satisfied with that area of my life? And then the last thing is to start putting it out there. I know, like, I truly know how scary that is, obviously. And I'm not saying that everyone has to go posting this on social media, but talk to your significant other about this. Tell your best friend. Talk to your mom. Write it down. Maybe you do want to post it on social media. Maybe you might want to make a song about it. Like, it's going to be different for everyone, but the more that you can own that this is your path, that it is choosing you and you are choosing it, the more aligned you're going to become with it. And for me, I have failed a lot publicly, and that has been a really great learning experience for me. If you don't necessarily want to do that as much, you can kind of wait and see and make sure that you feel good about this path before sharing it. But I would encourage you to still share it with 1 or 2 people in your life, that this is something that you're trying and you don't have to fully commit to it right now. But I think being able to talk about it and put it out there in some way, shape, or form can be really healing. And I also really stand by the fact that try not to shy away from the ones that make you really uncomfortable, because you're probably going to end up doing those ones anyways. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but if you are really uncomfortable about posting about this on social media, the odds that you are going to end up posting about this on social media at some point are pretty high. I hate to break that to you, but that's typically the case for most people who truly want to be aligned with their path. It's like the thing that makes them the most uncomfortable. That's going to be the last step in order to truly own and align with this path. This is meant to be fun. Choosing your path so that it will choose you back is meant to be fun. Think about it as you are creating your dream life. You are in the process of creating your dream life. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be scary. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. But there's also so much that you get to discover about yourself and what you want and your gifts and your talents and why you're here and why you chose this path, that are so beautiful. And I think so often we're so focused on the end result that we miss all the joy and the fun that we get to have along the way. So try to enjoy yourself, try to have fun, and know that you can do all 3 of these things at the same time. And in fact, I would encourage you to do that. These do not need to be sequential. Done is better than perfect. Just put it out there. Just start, just go, and the rest will work itself out along the way. If you've enjoyed this episode, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would share it with one person. Also, if you could rate, review, and subscribe, that means so much. If you have any feedback for me, you can email me at guidedsoulllc@gmail.com. You can also use the link in the show notes to go to the episode website and use the contact form there. I love hearing all of your feedback, and especially if you've enjoyed the format of today's episode, you're really going to love the direction that this is going in. I think you're going to be even more excited by what I reveal next week. So stay tuned for that. This truly means so much to me. It means so much to me that you're here listening to this. This podcast is my baby. I love it with all my heart, and I just can't wait to see where it takes us. I also have some upcoming guest episodes, and those will kind of be like bonus episodes here and there. I'm going to have regularly scheduled solo episodes where you know what to expect each week. And then I'll have guest episodes, as bonus episodes sprinkled in and out. So I also just want to say thank you for choosing to share your love and light with the world. Like, I don't think I actually say that enough. I thank you for being here and listening to me. But if you're listening to me, that means that you want to share love and light with the world, and you are pushing yourself to grow and to put yourself out there and to live a life that's authentic to you. And that is what we need more than anything in this world. And I know that if you're listening to this, that there is at least a little part of you that is doing that. And for some of you, maybe it's a really huge part of your life. And I just want to acknowledge how beautiful that is. And thank you for the work that you are doing. It's an honor to be connected to you and to be able to deliver messages for you. So I can't thank you enough. Until next week, keep going. You're doing amazing. And I love you.